ordinarily, these are sad goodbyes. And I would also say that, Boyd brings up his parents a lot, but he should be no reflection on his parents. Because I'm telling you, Boyd Brown's parents, David and Melinda Brown, are two of the finest people that I have ever met. But this is always a sad time for me. I just really do not look forward to the last week of session because of all this, because we are up here a lot together, 6 months out of the year, 3 days a week. We do have a relationship with one another. We see each other all the time. You can stay here too long, and the longer I stay here, the more I know that there's more to life than this, and sometimes you miss some very important things in life being up here, and sometimes you wonder if you did the right thing sometime by staying up here too long. But Boyd has realized that, and he won't make that mistake. But we do have relationships, and it's sad because when people leave, things are never the same. Some people you never see again. Some people, the next time you hear about them, you read about them in the newspaper and for a funeral or something. But it's a... So farewells are always sad. But Boyd is the Fairfield House delegation. And Boyd also serves on the Chester House delegation with Dennis and I. And I will say this, in spite of what he said about my bills from this very podium on numerous occasions, and in spite of the things that he may have even said about me from up here, Boyd has been a very loyal friend to me on the Chester delegation and on the Judiciary Committee. And I'd like to thank you for that, Boyd. And I look forward, I'll continue to have a relationship with Boyd because Boyd is going to graduate from law school here in another year or so. And he's going to become a member of the South Carolina Bar. And we'll both be practicing law in the 6th Judicial Circuit. And so I look forward to doing that. And all that we have up here today, Bakari is not on the either the Fairfield delegation, House delegation, or the Chester delegation. But the reason he's up here is because he's Boyd's desk mate, and Dennis asked him if he was going to say something nice about Boyd, about being his desk mate. He says, well, no, somebody had to sit with him. But I do have a House resolution to present to Boyd, and I was looking for a Order of the Palmetto, but I guess we'll have to, since the speaker called me up here, we won't be able to present. You'll have to get that at a later date. And I was also looking for a proclamation from the mayor, 5 points. But if you didn't get that last night, you'll probably get that tonight. But in any event, it's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you, Boyd, and I wish you all the best.
Mr. Brown is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's no can of gas or a lighter under this podium. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I've only been here for 4 years, so you may not recognize me. During my 2 years in this body, I, like most new legislators, have rarely stepped to this podium. I've listened quietly during floor debate. I've refused to comment to the press, and I've shied away from controversy. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Boyd Brown. I'm from Winsburg, and I'm going to be leaving y'all because I hardly got to know you. You have discovered, like my parents did such a long time ago, 25 years, that it's difficult for me to sit down and shut up. So, fellow colleagues, I know many of you will take comfort in the fact that this will be the last time I come to this podium. First of all, I must express my profound gratitude to the people of District 41 for giving, as Mr. Howard so eloquently put it, a 22-year-old white boy the honor and privilege to be their voice in Columbia. I can only hope that I have represented their interests well and that I have done them proud. I also want to thank the capable and underappreciated staff of the House. They are fine public servants, and they make us look better than we usually deserve. Finally, I want to thank you, the membership of this body. I want to thank those of you who have taken me under your wings for the advice, the encouragement, even the reproaches, all of which have helped guide me on my legislative journey and life education. But with that said, I also want to thank many of you for making me feel smarter by comparison, Merle Smith, from time to time. I also want to thank you for putting up with me. I know that sometimes my mouth works faster than my brain, and for any offense, overstep, or error in judgment I've made in the heat of debate, I sincerely apologize. I am pleased that despite political differences, I have made many lasting friendships on both sides of the aisle. I am honored to have served with you as we all fought for what we believe will make South Carolina a better place. And in my deskmate, Mr. Sellers, I can finally say I won up Bakari. For the rest of my life, I've got Bakari beat on pickup lines. I retired at 25. Hopefully, whoever it is I'm using it on won't ask me to show them the money. But speaking of that, speaking of money, you know, unless you're on the governor's list of corrupt legislators up here, we don't take this job for the pay. Too many folks don't realize how little this job actually does pay. I have long said that to be a member of the General Assembly, you've got to be unemployed, self-employed, or retired. In light of recent events, including one particular investigation, I've decided to amend that thought. In order to make a living and serve in this body, one must be unemployed, self-employed, retired, or be a future governor of the state who knows how to land some pretty good consulting contracts. Creating a better South Carolina is why I ran for office in the first place. It's why I came here and refused to sit down on the back row and stay silent. I chose to come to Columbia and speak with a strong voice. I chose to come here and fight for what I believe in. Ladies and gentlemen, South Carolina has all the tools to be among the best states in the nation. I believe that, and I know you do too. But unfortunately, it is lacking in two critical areas: leadership and vision. The last two executive branch administrations have been total failures. Too frequently, our elected officials have embarrassed us. Too often, our proud state has been made a national laughingstock. And I know why. It's because we keep electing the same kind of people, and that's why we are stuck with the same kind of results. Bobby Kennedy once reminded his audience of a Chinese curse, one that says, "May you live in interesting times." Like it or not, as Senator Kennedy reminded those students, we do live in interesting times. They are times of rapid change and uncertainty, but they are also more open to the creative energy of mankind than any other time in our history. When the story of our time is chronicled, I believe these years in which we are living will serve as a flashpoint. Change is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, the steady march of progress has reached a blistering sprint. Will our state be there to join in the race to achieve the future, or will fear of change, or worse, personal ambition and greed in this body hinder you from doing the right thing? We, the legislative branch of government, must answer the call. It is our duty. The burden rests on our shoulders. With each passing day, we risk losing ground to those prepared to accept the challenges of this century. We must break out of our limited scope philosophies to prepare for progress. Everyone here will ultimately be judged, and sometimes even judged via parody Twitter accounts, not by longevity in office, but on the ability to meet the challenges of his time to build a better South Carolina. Our time is moving faster, and faster our challenges are increasingly more complex. There is, said an Italian philosopher, nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in a new introduction of things. This is the measure of the task of leadership, but also of my generation. We must enter and maneuver this new world, competing not only against Georgia and North Carolina, but against the entire world. Let me tell you a little bit more about that generation that I speak of today and have risen on behalf of multiple times in this body. My generation acknowledges science. We do. And we want to protect our planet. We understand the importance of our natural heritage in this state and what responsibilities come with that heritage. Visit the Ace Basin and then try to convince me we don't have an obligation to protect our natural resources. My generation doesn't think you improve the lives of the working South Carolinian by lowering the taxes of the corporations that fund your political endeavors. You do so by finding ways to lower the individual tax burdens and improve their lot in life. My generation finds it disgraceful to confine a child born to a broken home in Winsboro or Kingstree, Allendale, or Dillon to a life without opportunity. Instead, we want the classroom to be a place where that child can escape from the shadows of despair and find refuge in an entirely new world, rich with opportunity. My generation understands you don't fix roads by naming them after Andre Bauer and other politicians, and you don't fund infrastructure by shuffling the DOT board. President Clinton reminds us there is no evidence that we can succeed in this century with an anti-government strategy, with a philosophy grounded in you're on your own rather than we're all in this together. We must invest in better roads, stronger bridges, and updated water and sewer lines. My generation does not hate gay people. We don't hate any people. We simply believe all Americans here in this state and across our country should be able to live their lives as they see fit. My generation is not caught up in black versus white. We must break out of this outdated prism of looking at one another through the spectacles of the past. We want to celebrate equality and opportunity in South Carolina, not the bigotry that has defined our state for too long. This is my generation, ladies and gentlemen. My generation does not fear the future. My generation is not afraid of progress. We're not afraid of globalism and an interdependent world. My generation, we welcome change. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you this caution. My generation is sprinting your way. In closing, as we go our separate ways, you in your direction and me in mine, and hopefully the governor goes off under indictment from the grand jury, I urge you to remember this, that South Carolina isn't just a state. At its core, it is an idea. The idea that tomorrow is a better day for South Carolina, for every South Carolinian, no matter their background, and that idea is embodied in our state motto, Dum Spiro Spero, while I breathe, I hope. I hope you take my words here today to heart, and I hope God continues to bless you and the state of South Carolina. Thank you.